Part 1. Have you ever struggled with learning English grammar, feeling overwhelmed by memorizing complex rules and exceptions? You're not alone. Many English learners face the challenge of understanding grammar, often feeling frustrated by the endless rules that seem impossible to memorize. But what if I told you there's a better way? A way to learn grammar naturally, without the need to memorize every single rule. The key to mastering English grammar doesn't lie in memorization. It lies in understanding and practice. Instead of forcing your brain to remember intricate grammatical rules, you can immerse yourself in English in ways that make grammar intuitive. Imagine learning grammar without even realizing you're doing it. This is the power of natural learning. In today's video, we'll explore techniques that will help you learn grammar the natural way. These methods are inspired by how we learn our first language as children, focusing on context, exposure, and practice. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to approach English grammar differently, making it easier to absorb and use in everyday conversations. Part 2. So, how do we learn English grammar naturally? The answer lies in contextual learning, exposing yourself to the language in ways that make the grammar feel real and usable. Just like when we were children, we learned language by hearing it around us and experimenting with it in our conversations. Grammar didn't come from a textbook. It came from listening, speaking, and understanding the language in context. One of the most effective ways to learn grammar naturally is by surrounding yourself with English through reading, listening, and speaking. For example, when you watch TV shows or movies in English, you're not just picking up vocabulary, you're also absorbing grammar in its natural form. You'll notice how sentence structures are used, how tenses shift depending on the context, and how questions and statements are formed. Instead of memorizing abstract rules, you learn how grammar functions in everyday situations. Similarly, reading books or articles in English exposes you to correct grammar in context. As you read, you'll see sentence patterns and structures in action. Over time, this exposure will help you internalize grammar without the need for explicit memorization. You don't have to focus on the grammar rules while you read. Just let your mind absorb the language and grammar naturally. Part 3. While passive exposure to English is a great way to learn grammar, active practice is essential to make grammar stick. This means experimenting with the language by creating your own sentences and using the grammar you encounter in real-world situations. Start by writing simple sentences in English, using the grammar structures you're learning. For instance, if you've been hearing a lot of sentences with the present perfect tense, try creating a few of your own. I have studied English for 2 years. Or she has just finished her lunch. This allows you to practice and solidify the grammar in your own mind, making it feel more natural. You can also use language exchange as an active practice tool. Speaking with a language partner, whether in person or through apps, helps you apply grammar structures in real conversations. When you communicate, you'll naturally make mistakes, and that's okay. These mistakes give you feedback on what you need to improve, and over time, you'll find that your use of grammar becomes more accurate. Another useful technique is to focus on one grammar point at a time and try to use it in different contexts. For example, if you're working on prepositions, practice them by describing locations, giving directions, or even talking about your daily routines. The more varied the context, the more deeply you'll understand how the grammar works. Part 4. Real-life experiences show that learning grammar in context doesn't just improve your understanding, it also boosts your confidence. Many learners who use these natural learning methods report that their speaking and writing skills improve more quickly than with traditional grammar drills. For instance, one learner shared how watching English TV shows helped them understand the past continuous tense. They had always struggled with it, but after seeing it used repeatedly in conversation, they began using it correctly without even thinking. Another student reported that they started writing more fluidly after spending time reading articles in English, allowing them to internalize grammar patterns without focusing on rules. Learning grammar naturally also creates mental connections that make the language more intuitive. When you understand grammar through context, it becomes easier to speak and write without second-guessing yourself. You'll find that grammar starts to flow more naturally, and you don't have to think about rules as much when you're speaking. Real-world practice is invaluable for building confidence and fluency. The more you use English in everyday situations, the more naturally the grammar will come to you, whether it's speaking with friends, writing in a journal, or even thinking in English. These activities help cement grammar structures into your memory. Part 5. As we wrap up today's video, remember that learning grammar naturally is about embracing the process of immersion, practice, and application. You don't need to memorize complex rules. What you need is consistent exposure to real-world examples, active practice, and the confidence to experiment with language. The next time you sit down to study, try focusing on understanding how grammar is used in everyday language. Watch English shows, read English books, and start using the grammar structures you've learned in your conversations and writing. Over time, this will feel more intuitive, and you'll notice how much easier it is to express yourself. So, start today. Don't get discouraged by grammar rules. Instead, immerse yourself in English, practice actively, and watch as your understanding and confidence grow. You've got this, and the more you practice, the easier it becomes.